Nabi has made a comment about Zajmovic's potential move to Kaizer Chiefs. Kabelo Khosi could be on his way out of Kaizer Chiefs. Khanyisa Mayo's situation with Belouizdad is getting very interesting, and this could just be exactly what Kaizer Chiefs needs. Matlow's contract negotiations are getting closer and closer to extension, and Flavio Silva has scored 3 goals since we last saw him play. Last but not least, Nabi talks about a lot of things, including what he meant last season when he said he does not have the quality players. Hello and welcome to Khosi Nation Fan TV. I am Bello, I am your host, and this is where fans meet and talk about Kaizer Chiefs. Khosi Football Club, to the very first story, and there is Zenan Zajmovic. The journalists were doing their job this time around because they were asking valid questions like, hey, Zajmovic is linked to Kaizer Chiefs. Is he going to Kaizer Chiefs? And this is what Nabi had to say. Number one, he said he doesn't even want to start talking about Zajmovic. Number two, he says that he doesn't know if the Zajmovic's administration issues have been solved. I didn't know there were administrative issues. And one thing that I think is very important, he says that if there is an opportunity to recruit him, particularly if he has residence, automatically yes. So this means to me that as long as the situation, whatever situation that Zajmovic has, can be solved, which we don't know what situation is in, and Kaizer Chiefs can find a way of registering him, then it's good. Right now, the way that Nabi is sounding, it's as if he is talking about residence, which we know that Zajmovic has only played in South Africa for 1 year, but I guess would have to open up a foreign spot. And right now with Castillo and Ntwari potentially leaving Kaizer Chiefs, those are 2 spaces, and one could be given to Zajmovic. That's what I'm thinking. But what do you guys think? Do you think Zajmovic would be a good idea for Kaizer Chiefs? You let me know on the comment section below. Before we continue with the video, subscribe to the channel. We're on 60,600 and something. Let's get to 61,000 before the end of this week, and it's already Wednesday. Subscribe, like the video. Second story for today is Kabelo Khosi. There is Paseka Mako, there is Bradley Cross, there is Shinga, there's just a lot of left back at Kaizer Chiefs, and I think that as much as this kid is already training with the senior team, I don't really think if he stayed he would get any game time at all. So rather let him go out on a loan, watch him develop, then bring him back, because I would hate it if once again we lost another player who could potentially be of the future, given the fact that Marco is already 31 and he's already injured and hasn't even played a single game for the Chiefs. And I'm tired of buying players since Kaizer Chiefs are producing so many good players to begin with. And by the way, while we're here, before we talk about Khanyisa Mayo, I want to address yesterday's thingy. I talked about the fact that Chiefs let go of Ndamane and this is not a good idea. People started saying, oh, but Chiefs already have 2 left-footed centre backs. I never said Chiefs should bring him back. I said he was never supposed to be let go in the first place, because Ndamane was let go before we signed Abokros, before we signed Abotut. So we signed 2 left-footed centre backs while we had a player who we could have pulled from our development, but the ball was gone by then because he slipped right through our fingers, and then we ended up having to spend 3 million on Cross alone, because Cross is now clearly being preferred as a left-footed centre back rather than a left back. So I'm just saying people should learn to listen, to understand, rather than to just answer. But anyways, we move. The next person is Khanyisa Mayo. So these stories, this one specifically comes from Ilatuma, so you know what that means. Apparently Belouizdad have registered more players than they can actually. They've signed, let me start again. Belouizdad have signed more players than they can sign. Wow, what is happening to me? Belouizdad has signed more players than they can register. Now that means they have to free up a foreign spot to register some of the players. And looking at the fact that Khanyisa Mayo has played 41 games and only scored 6 goals for them, not to mention the fact that even when we watched Belouizdad play Pirates in the Champions League, it seemed like they were not sure where they wanted to play him. So I wonder whether the arrival of Sead Ramovic is going to help the issue. Because if it doesn't happen, then he's one of the players who could be released because of the fact that he did not produce as many goals for a striker as you'd expect. So I hope that they give him a put. I'm being selfish because I want him to come to Kaizer Chiefs. He's a striker who would come to Kaizer Chiefs, and Chiefs wanted him, so we know that the team wanted him. But on top of that, he understands the league. He's proven in the league. He wouldn't take up a foreign spot, so he would make perfect sense. So I hope that he comes back to South Africa. Yeah, I know, I'm selfish. He can still get a move abroad. Up there, they are not even appreciating his talent. Come home, the age is still on your side. You play 1 or 2 seasons in South Africa, then you find yourself also playing in Austria. Ask yourself, Mart. Yeah, we do that at Kaizer Chiefs. Which brings us to the next story, and that story is Lehlohonolo Matlou's contract negotiations are apparently what's the wording that is used here, are at an advanced stage, and apparently the contract could be signed soon. And as I read that report, it said that the signing of Matlou is purely for depth, because if you look across that midfield right now, you can have a starter and a reserve for everyone in that midfield. If you're not starting Ucele, Undlovu is on the bench, or you could even like almost like for like. You have Umshini as a 10, you have Chislet, you have Sereno there as well, you have Umtu Shabalala. And then now you know Ox, Nondlovu nayo, Ngambagala Nondlovu. And then Ucele, buye mhlambe ngamfaka njengomshini, because he's now looking more like Umshini, rather is looking more like an 8 these days, but they're gonna play him as a 10, and I'm okay with that. Uguti's been more comfortable as well, dropping deep and collecting the ball and doing all of those things. So there's a lot of depth, and they're trying to add more of that. I think another thing they like about Matlou is the fact that he's tall and he can be physical and fight for the ball. So I think that's why they are trying to keep him by all means necessary. Which brings us to Flavio Silva. Some of you probably have seen a clip of Flavio Silva where he was scoring a goal when Chiefs were playing against Siwelele, Supersport United. So he scored a goal. It was a nice goal. He went, he passed the ball, and then he moved into space, and then he received the ball, and then he ran through the defenders, and then he scored a goal. Beautiful goal, if you ask me. So for those of you who are already hating and dismissing him, shame on you, because I feel like we've not given the guy a fair chance. So we need to give our players a fair chance, guys, because Chiefs is big, and things that are said by Chiefs fans, they get spread easily, and then the next thing you know, the player gets that message, and then now he's coming out to play against Stellenbosch on Sunday, sold out, hopefully. I already bought my tickets. So he shouldn't come out feeling uncomfortable that they're gonna boo him, because now we are known for such nonsense. Can we fix that? Speaking of fixing things, Nabi has fixed his words that he said towards the end of the season. Now, me being me, I went to the article because I was smelling some damage control from what he said. So I told an AI thing. I said, what was this? What did I use, Vel? I think it's still open. Oh wow. Yeah, I used Claude AI, not ChatGPT, because so I asked Claude AI that give me an objective analysis of what is being said on this article, because I will go through some of the things that Nabi said. Number one, he says that by saying he wanted better players, right? He says this is what he meant. He was completely misunderstood. That's what he's saying. He says that he wanted players fitting his tactical game model, not that the players that are at Chiefs are bad, which clearly is a lie, because there are some players who are not supposed to be at Chiefs but were at Chiefs, and they're playing a level of football that is not there. I'm not gonna say names, but he says that he just wanted players who fit his style of play, and sometimes that happens. There are some bad players and then there are just some bad players for the system. Like there are teams that want to play the ball, there are players who want to run with the ball. So you don't fit into that style of a team, because although you can go to a team like Stellies, take Ashley Dupree for example. Wow, I said the name of a player. He's not a bad player at all. But if you are playing him in Kaizer Chiefs, where he has to be smart in the box and be able to finish and do the things, he's gonna struggle. Put him with Stellenbosch, where teams are going to be pressing Stellenbosch and then they space behind the defenders. He's gonna get 7 1v1s and he's gonna score 2 of those. With Chiefs, we're usually in the box and you have to finish there, and then he's gonna miss. And then we have problems, because then he looks like a bad player. So that's what Nabi is saying. But the AI told me that clarification, he says that this clarification appears like damage control before the new season. It could be that he meant what he meant because he was frustrated. There are things that he said, but now Jessica Mtaung being very good at controlling the narrative, being a marketing genius that she is, I was like, you know what, just go correct that, because we've not let go of as many players as you thought we would. So just go out there and make it clear that you did not mean the players were bad, but you meant they were not that great for the system. So that's where we are. But do you guys think that Nabi meant it when he said that the players are not good enough, or do you think that he meant that they are not good for the system? It's on my comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, remember, equals Alpelumoy. Dun 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 dun.